Welcome back to Tom's World Scale Model Series. In this episode, we take a look at the Meng 1/35th scale Renault FT17 light tank. If you enjoy programming on scale modeling, then show your support by subscribing to this channel. Leave us a comment, like, dislike, or share the video with friends. Clicking the notification bell gives you alerts when we post new content, or visit the channel Tom's World for a friendly visit for a complete list of all our videos. By 1916, World War I was reaching a frightful crescendo. The industrial scale of the slaughter was appalling, with losses measured into the millions. Military leaders were desperate to break the stalemate. Out of the smoke and carnage clambered a new and powerful machine that would smash the bitter standoff. Although arriving late in the war, the Renault FT17 had an immediate impact and would help to swing the war in the Allies' favor. Stay with us as we unbox Meng's beautiful rendition of this most fascinating topic. This is a perfect kit for any armor modeler interested in exploring the history and origins of the modern battle tank. So welcome. Well, today we've got Meng's 1/35th scale Renault FT17 light tank riveted turret. Well, the kit's actually called French FT17. Of course, a lot of nations used the FT17, so I guess they felt it was important to say French FT17. It's their Tyrannosaurus series. I'm not sure what that's all about, just other than a cool marketing name. Kit TS011, released in 2014, and the price was $28 US. Rough conversion today would be about $37 Canadian. So that was part of the reason I bought it, because Meng is really a premium kit manufacturer, and some of their newer modern vehicles that they have out are just stupendous. But I've never built Meng before, and I really love the kit, so I really want to get my hands on one. And with that price of $28 US, that was totally a done deal there for me. The box looks just terrific. It's kind of a satin finish, and it's got a nice sort of feel to it. And the overall design, kind of these faded pastel-y kind of colors, and it really does kind of give you a sense of, vintage, of class, of kind of going back in time here, which we're doing with this vehicle. So it's a great looking box. So just a quick measurement of the box. We're going to have about 13 inches, 33 centimeters long. We've got about 7.5 inches, 19 centimeters wide, and high, about 2 3/4 and 6.5 centimeters. So not a huge box, but again, a very nice box. Lots of class here. And, Meng is, again, a premium manufacturer, so really, when they release a product, it's going to look nice, and we'll see that throughout the kit. Nothing too much exciting on this side of the box, just a repeat, same thing on that side of the box, nothing really stupendous, but here looks like we've got some color charts, some color translations, and it does look to me like Meng has done kind of an exclusive here with AK. I'm just going to try and hit the focus here. There we go. And it's all AK colors. I don't use a lot of AK. I use some of their weathering products, and they're great. And I don't know if I'm going to go with AK paints, but we'll see how this plays out. There's a picture of the cast turret version. That is not this kit. That's TS008. You can see quite emphatically they say sold separately, but it's got that cool sort of tiger striping, that black pinstripe. Very cool. Not this kit though. I kind of like that paint job as I'm looking at it. Boy, I sure would like to do that one, but I don't know if it fits on ours. Okay, and there's the diorama base that we get in the kit, which is kind of a nice value added, and we'll look at that when we go inside. Nothing much on this side either. They really keep it light. And now that is the riveted turret. So that's one of the paint jobs, paint schemes that we have an option for in this kit. So just a little light up. So there it is there. Again, really nice box. Really liking that. Let's hit that focus for you guys. Oh, brother, come on. So what we're going to do is let's have a quick look at the product line. It's not very long, but it'll give us some sense of the kit's lineage. So let's do that now. To date, Meng has released two versions of the FT17 light tank. The initial version came out in 2013, kit TS008, sells for about $50 US today. The kit features a full interior, and its hatches can be pulled open to reveal the details inside. Contained within are 10 sprues, shares 7 of these with TS011. There are 3 additional sprues with the fleshed out interior details, the engine, cast turret, and its accessories. Also inside are Indy track links, a kit-specific decal sheet, and it also comes with the option, of course, of mounting either the Pateau 37mm cannon or the Hotchkiss machine gun. And interestingly enough, the kit does come with an additional Hotchkiss if you need one for your diorama or a spare box. The instructions take the form of a nice booklet with color pages for 4 different paint schemes, and some of those schemes are very, very cool. That was folded up in 2014 by Kit TS011, and that sells for about $28 today. We'll be looking at this release in more detail, but just to sum up, it also contains 10 sprues, again sharing 7 of these with Kit TS008. There are 3 additional sprues, 2 constituting the diorama base and 1 with the riveted turret and its accessories. The kit comes with the same Indy track links, a kit-specific decal sheet, but only 1 Hotchkiss machine gun is contained. The kit contains no engine, has fewer interior parts, but it does build up the driver's compartment interior, and its hatches can be posed open. While not exactly a tank kit like its cousins, Kit HS005 is a natural accessory to the 2 other Meng kits. This release, the French FT17 light tank crew and orderlies, contains figures to complement the other 2 Meng kits. And it also contains a very cool Peugeot 1917 750cc period motorcycle. This was a 2016 release and sells today for around $24. The entire Meng line contains 3 additional kits, 2 of which are marked as Japanese limited editions. The Girls and Panzer Phase Finale release is actually based on a Japanese animated movie that was released back in 2017. These kits are largely absent in the North American market, and information on their contents is practically non-existent. Other manufacturers do produce the FT17 in various scales, and their quality varies. Takom's 1/16 scale version being a definite standout, but in the 1/35th scale, the Meng line gives modelers 2 great releases of top-notch quality. The $28 price of the 011 release gives us a premium kit at an irresistible price. Okay, so let's crack this thing. It's always the best part. Kit at Christmas time. Oh, look at that. Alright, what do we got here? We'll just do a quick overhead view. A couple of sprues there with our running gear and return rollers, looks like. Here's a diorama base. Now, it might not be packed exactly like I'm showing here because I've rummaged through here in preparation of the video, but we've got sprues atop of sprues atop of sprues. As we like to say, a veritable cornucopia of sprues. Look at this. It's just a bottomless box here. Fantastic value for the 28 bucks we spent. Okay, what else we got here? A couple little bags. Ooh, a little PE sheet. Nice. We're just going to kind of lay everything out here for a general overview. This is always the fun part, unboxing. And then there's the color chart. Nice. We'll have a look at that in more detail. And then, of course, the booklet, which I wanted to get at, so we'll just set that aside for now. Let's just get a kind of an overhead view here. I do have something loose in here, but it just looks like just nothing, just a sprue remnant. It's always nice. Everything's bagged, so nothing's going to fall apart. And by the way, the box was shrink wrapped. I know I always like to make a big deal about that because some of the kits I get are shrink wrapped and some aren't. In North America, generally, stuff is usually shrink wrapped. Okay, don't want to lose that little bag. Let's get the tracks up here. We're going to try to lay out everything just so we could see it all. And a lot of plastic, as we can see. And, you know, we're going to see that the Meng stuff is just molded exquisitely. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to just tidy this up and let's have a look at the instruction sheet. So just starting with the paperwork, looks like we get a little booklet, stapled, about 20 pages or so. We'll look at that a little bit closer, but it's on really nice paper. It's not quite linen, but it's got some texture to it. Again, kind of gives it that nice sort of vintage feel. And then, of course, our color guide. Looks like we get 2 paint schemes here. This first one's going to be, let's see here, 2nd Platoon, 1st Company, 344th Tank Battalion, 304th Tank Brigade, U.S. Army Verdun, October 1918. Now, this tank only served very, very late in World War I. I believe it came out, maybe June 1st was its first battle debut, and the war was over by November, so it only served maybe about 6 months, although it is an icon of World War I, but it served very short. For a very short period of time during the war. In fact, it probably got most of its action after the war, but we digress a little bit. And it looks like we have that tricolor paint scheme. Almost looks reminiscent of the German World War II tricolor paint scheme, kind of that dunkelgelb with olive green and red brown. Colors are probably a little bit different. Almost looks like a mustard brown and almost like a hull red there, and more of a field drabby color. But it is differentiated by the cannon, it looks like, and that's that Pateau SA1918 37mm cannon on that one. And just take a look at the little sled here at the back that, of course, helps to traverse turrets and gives you more of a body length there without incurring a lot of weight. Now, the one good feature about this particular little tank was that it was so narrow. You can sort of see in the front view here, and that kind of made it hard to hit on a battlefield. Now, of course, if you're shooting artillery in the general area, that's another thing, but that was one of its strengths, was that it was small and hard to hit. And the second paint guide here is going to be, let's see here, Tank Unit, Northeastern Frontier Defense Force, National Revolutionary Army, China, 1929. So it looks like maybe the Chinese Civil War. And again, interesting to note, this tank probably saw most action after the war, an interwar period between World War I and World War II. And this one here is just a dual color. Looks like, again, the Dunkelgelb was a mustard brown with an olive green striping. And it's kind of rather nice that they give you all the angles so you don't have to guess at any of the camouflage. So that's kind of nice. So just to look at this this booklet here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit and adjust the angle here. Okay, so this way we can see a little bit better. I think the knock that I would have on the instructions is they're a little bit small. But with the magic of video, we can kind of zoom in. Okay, so we got a little bit of a backstory here, multiple languages. There's the English. I always like reading this. Kind of sets the tone for the build. It's like Chinese, Japanese, and interestingly enough, it's localized for Russia, so that must be a market for Meng. All right, so a little write-up on the general. That would have been probably the father of French tanks and artillery. A little write-up on him. He looks rather dapper there. And there's probably a little write-up on the inventor, probably the prototype vehicle there. Very clever guy. Very interesting. And, of course, your obligatory safety warnings. And, you know, we do get blasé about it, but for new people and for younger modelers, always pay attention. We're working with very sharp knives, chemicals, and other things. And always use common sense. Work in a well-ventilated area. I know we don't talk about it enough, but safety first always, because this sort of stuff has cumulative health effects. So enough preaching, so pay attention to that. And very early on in the build, we've got to decide which version we're going to build. And I think they're only differentiated really by the type of armament. One's got the Pateau cannon, the other one's got the Hotchkiss machine gun. And I think we can mix and match them, you know, whatever paint scheme and decals. All right, so Meng kits, usually you have to build up everything. And of course, there's not going to be any bathtub style hull here. So it looks like the, let's see here, the hull floor with some pedals going down. Here's a bulkhead or a firewall going in. We've got rudimentary details for the driver's compartment because we can pose the doors open or closed. It's not quite the full version, the cast turret version. It's got the engine, but it's got some rudimentary interior parts. Here we can see, well, the luxurious seat, which is probably a piece of wood for the driver to sit on. Some steering handles going in. And again, some remnants of interior, a little panel there, and those look like gauges, but we do not get gauge decals. And I don't know if we can actually probably ignore the interior. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't see much of the interior, but it's a nice feature. So here's some of the suspension going in, some of that white metal part there in the spring. And I don't think the track is, or the suspension is workable. I think these little springs are just for aesthetics, but we'll see. Oh, and the early version of a gypsy rack. Here's your briefcase or your suitcase on the side. So not much for crew comfort in these early tanks. Again, some of the interior here is showing the paint this white, which makes sense. Maybe a fire extinguisher. Okay, so this is the exterior of the body here. We've got the muffler going in. We can weather that up nicely. Some more of the suspension, that white metal part there. And a couple little brackets, some PE, and our little shovel there. Pretty straightforward. The drawings are great. And the steps don't have tons and tons in them. So here looks like the turret ring and maybe the engine decking going down. And look at this. This little cover here is 5 parts. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. Hopefully there's not big, nasty sprue gates all over the place. We're also going to look for knockout pins too, which we always like to do. All right, so here, no bathtub style hull. We're building up all the structures. That's typical Meng. Here's the body or the chassis sides going down. Some little parts there. We'll have to take a look at that. Here's the decking going down. Maybe some of the driver's visors there, the front plate going in. Pretty straightforward, and lots of wheels. We took a break from wheels on the Steer, and after that helmet kit, but here we are back in the weeds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 two-part wheels per side. And then we've got 6 running gears, so a lot of little wheels to clean up. Alright, so we're mounting those on this bar, and there's a little steel piece there, nickel-plated steel piece, which we'll look at later. Suspension isn't workable, but, well, we'll see. I don't think it's workable. That track seems too stiff. Alright, so here's the side running gear bar going in. There's the drive sprocket, and that little cast-in piece there. We'll take a look at that later. Little nameplate. So some very delicate parts going in here, building up some of that running gear there. And there's the idler wheel, and interestingly enough, that piece on the real article is actually made of wood. It's not particularly load bearing, but it's really just to tension the track, but that was wood, and I think the story goes was because French manufacturing could not fabricate big parts like that, cast them or machine them, so laminated wood, very strong, probably a steel rim there. So alright, so there that is. Alright, step 10, just the other side of the running gear again. Drive sprocket, idler, and top views here so you get your alignment properly. Alright, so here we got the sled on the back. I've got some scale chain I'm going to throw on here. It doesn't come in the kit, but I've got some. And most pictures I see have the chain hanging down, I assume for recovery, so I like to do that. And here we're just attaching the sled and the running gear to the side body. It's almost like a coffin on wheels. I hate to say that, but well, I mean, engineering wise, a big box on wheels, that's all you really need. And again, the drawings are a little small. You can sort of see the scale in my hands, and I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but it's a little small for these old eyes, but superb detail. I mean, look at that drawing. That's fantastic. Alright, so what I can see here and what I've read is the tracks are supposedly don't need glue, so we'll have to see how those stay together. They're pretty rudimentary on the real article, so kind of interesting. Kind of looking forward to painting those up. Alright, so here we go. Here's the driver's compartment, and we can pose the doors open or close, which is rather nice. There's his visor up if we like. Again, we don't get the full interior, but we get some rudimentary, and we certainly get the driver's side here. We don't get the engine, so we can actually pose these open and close. I'm going to see time constraints for the video. I might close everything, which is such a shame because the detail's beautiful, but we'll see here. And here's the engine hatches, and again, well, we're going to have to pose those closed. I'm not sure if there's an aftermarket engine, but if you do want the engine detail, get the cast version, that TS008 kit. Alright, so what else here? Okay, then here we have to make a decision for a gun. It does look like the mantlet or the mounting part is different for the little cannon and the Hotchkiss machine gun. Now that cannon was actually superb. 37mm was great against infantry and concrete bunkers up close. It could usually penetrate them. It looks like a little rifle. And it was actually, supposedly, the story goes that it was good against other tanks right up in 1939. So that's pretty impressive. It was very reliable, this gun. But, by 1939-40, the Panzers were coming online, and that little cannon was pretty much gone the way of the dodo. But looks like the mounting is 2 different parts, as well as the cannon looks like it takes a faceplate on the mantlet there, which is different too. So, again, a little bit of choices. Now, here's what I was talking about is that... other manufacturers might cast a turret as a one piece, but here we're building up every facet. So I'm curious to see how well those are mitered and whether we're going to actually need some filler there. And and you can pose the doors open, which we'll just see in a minute. Alright, so here's the turret, and there's your gunner / commander's seat strap, little P part. That's your turret basket. So not the lap of luxury on this thing, but probably designed for sprinting, not really long cross-country marches. So that's that. We'd have to put that in if we do decide. It looks like we can build here the the turret hatch open or close, and you get the little interior parts if you want them. So we'll see. I sure like to build the interior, but I'm not sure about time for the video. And final step 18 here, we're just mating the turret to the body on that turret ring, and there it is. So if we use the cannon, we'll have our little hotchkiss left over, and we can always mount it this little tripod. So if we're thinking diorama, we've got some diorama accessories, and it's got this really nice ammunition belt here. This stick of ammo, which is really nice. We'll look at that in the sprues, and an ammo box, which is rather nice. All right, and the last couple steps just here are the base, some side members going in, some bracing, which will probably make that really strong. I don't think I'm going to mess with the base, to be honest, but we should show it. Here's some sundries going down, some broken wood, typical trench sort of building material, some sandbags going in, and one whole step to show the thing gets slapped on top. So very nice. There it is. And we get our sprue map, which I always find handy. And I don't think there's going to be any spare parts in this at all. So let's jump into some of the parts and some of the sprues. The kit does come with a diorama base, and it comes on 2 sprues. This one here is going to be K for kilo. And I have to admit, it's a little tough to shoot big blobs of plastic because they reflect the light so much, but I'll try to zoom in a little bit and catch the light. And if you put it on, put the tank on here, it kind of looks like it's rumbling up to kind of a cutaway of a trench. And it looks great. I've seen some shots online of people that have done a fantastic job on this diorama. Put in a little bit of dirt, a little bit of foliage, some barbed wire. And, you know, you can put a little bit of water in the shell hole here and sprinkle some leaves on top, and it just looks fantastic. So really a nice kind of value-added bonus. And there's some sandbags. They look good. Let me just focus in on those sandbags just so you can kind of see them. There we are. And they're very well done. Yeah, so that's the first sprue. And I guess those long pieces there, that's the diorama frame, it looks like to me. So, and all right, so that's that one. And then the second sprue is going to be sprue L for Lima. And those are just the diorama sides. There's the cross bracing on the inside. And but the wood texture on the trench liners looks really great. Let me see if I can't focus in on that. That really does look like old wood. And, you know, we paint that up gray and browns and some highlights and shadows, and it'll look great. So nice little value-added bonus to the kit, and these 2 sprues are exclusive to the riveted turret DS011. They do not come in TS008 in the cast hull version. So those are those 2. Let's start here. There's 8 sprues in total plus the 2 diorama ones that we just looked at. So you get 2 of these, and these are just marked, unfortunately, E for Echo Meng. That's it. They've got no dates on them. But if we have a look at them, and I'm just going to do some manual focusing on this. All right, let's go in close. Now, when we were talking about the instructions, we were kind of lamenting the fact that we've got 2-part road wheels, but bless Meng, these are molded as one piece. Normally in tank kits, any kind of road wheels or return rollers are usually 2 parts. But again, bless Meng, these are molded as one piece. And look at this. It looks like they have that little, maybe an oil, little pivot there. Just kind of cool. Nice detail there. But okay, so there's 9 of those per side. And again, bless Meng, they're one piece. So very nice. So 2 of those. And they're not marked or dated, so I assume that they're probably the same as the rest of them that we're going to look at here in a second. Okay, so you get 1 times this, and this is going to be, let's see here, sprue A for alpha. One of these, and the bolt detail is fantastic. This is part of the reason that I was attracted to this kit, because that bolt detail is fantastic. And you can see that we don't have nasty knockouts, and because you can see some of the interior, it's done on 2 sides. Now there's these weird little things here. I don't know what they are exactly. You can see that, but I'm assuming that's a place where maybe you can't see, that's hidden, so I don't think we have to worry about those. But see, I would rather have knockouts done on the edges like this and clean that up than have them right in the middle of a panel. So, but excellent detail. They're the tools. And the attachment points are quite delicate, so the clasps, so those are nice. It's all good good quality plastic. There's the floor, and it's got the anti-skid texture, which is great. I don't know if I'm going to do the interior, I have to be honest. That's the probably the engine deck. And there we go, some more bolt detail. Probably the driver's visors there because the doors open vertically. And it looks like the muffler is two-part, so we'll have to watch our seam on that. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, so that one there. Then the next one we got ×2. And actually, I should have showed you guys the dates on the molds. That one that I just showed, it's going to be the exact same thing. But let me see if I can't focus in on this. Okay, so we can see it's dated. Okay, let me get a focus. 2013, and it is marked TS008. So all these sprues minus the diorama base were probably all done for that initial release, the cast turret release. And the cast turret release TS008, you get 3 additional sprues over and above what I'm showing here. Now I don't know if that's confusing enough, but there it is. Okay, so there's the idler wheel. The molding is great. And the steering tiller, a couple of leaf springs. I didn't know this tank had leaf springs. There's the drive sprocket. Okay, we're not going to guess, not going to play guess the parts, but it's towing hooks, towing clevises with a kind of a funky little side piece. Definitely don't see that in World War II later on. There's some very delicate pieces there. Some castle nuts, just a little bit of flash on that piece there. Let me just move that. But it's to be expected since it's such a tiny piece. Let me see if I can't focus that. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of flash there, but still a little castellated nut. I mean, that piece is tiny. We're zoomed in very far here, so. Okay, so there's that. Anything else of interest? Ammo box sides. Okay, so there's 2 of those. Right there. Second to last, penultimate, is going to be those rails that support the running gear. And the design is interesting. The running gear's on the exterior, which actually makes it easy to maintain. It's almost reminiscent of the Sherman, the M4 medium. But again, the beautiful bolt detail. That really attracted me to this kit. Now, one thing I did want to draw your attention to is it looks like these placards are cast right into the plastic. I mean, the detail is fantastic. We can actually read that. Louis Renault. That's wonderful. It's amazing. And the little nut and bolt there. But that would have been nice had that been a PE piece. Because I think the real article normally is brass. But it's so low on the running gear that it probably gets covered with mud. Anyways, look at how delicate those numbers are. They're fantastic. Well, they are. I mean, Meng is a premium kit builder. So, and look at the nuts on that. Okay, I'm not going to make a snide remark on that one, but oh man, just beautiful detail. Wow. Because we're zoomed in really tight there. Okay, and what else we got? Some more bolt detail. Looks like the final drive cover. And we do see evidence of slide molding. All right, so there's the Pateau cannon right in the middle, and we can see that it is slide molded. Right? So are those parts there. So modern molding, obviously 2013. So there's the Hotchkiss machine gun. Now looking at the end of it, it is solid. And I'll tell you, looking at that, I don't have a bit that's small. I'm not going to mount the machine gun, but in the future, I mean, if I ever do, I'm going to need a bit because that is tiny. Wow. Okay, anything else of interest on there? Oh, and there's your Gypsy Rack circa 1918. And look at the buckle detail. That's even finer than the Tamiya Kuba wagon. Of course, that was molded, I believe, in 1992, if I remember correctly, so makes sense. I mean, it's just like an Uber Tamiya molding. Just, you know, the refinements in the last few years are just amazing. Tiny little parts, 1819. Looks like the tripod for the Hotchkiss. There's the tripod for the Hotchkiss cannon if we decide to mount it that way, and I think we looked at that already. So absolutely fantastic. So ×1 on that one. And I'm just going to adjust my camera, which seems to be slipping here. There we go. And one last sprue. That's going to be, let's see here, B for Bravo, 1 times there. And like I said, 8 total plus the diorama, the 2 for the diorama. And just more of the same. Beautiful, beautiful bolt detail. Tiny little parts, fantastic detail. That looks like the sled. Not sure what that little funky piece is. Oh, and there's the feed strips for the ammunition. I'll see if I can get close up and show the detail. But that is fantastic. Okay, I'm going to pull focus as far as I can get it. Okay, that's because look at that feed strip on that machine gun. Because the Hotchkiss uses kind of a feed strip. And that is very well done. And we are very close to the camera, so that is fantastic. Look at the size, just compared to my finger. Wow, it's fantastic. All right. It's too bad I'm not going to use the machine gun. It might just draw me into building a World War I diorama. Okay, some canvas texture there, very nice. Some more delicate parts. Now I did want to show these pedals, if I can get close enough. But dig this, the little pimples on the pedals. Oh, that is so amazing. And that's my finger in comparison. Like, that's just got to blow you away. Look at those little, I don't know if those are the clasps for the tools, but absolutely fantastic molding. So again, you know, when we compare that to Tamiya's Kublai in 1992 to this, look at the gauges. I don't like painting gauges. You can dry brush that. It'll look fine. Now it is on the interior, so you probably wouldn't see it. Oh, a bit of a hole there. That's probably a mounting hole. Knowing Meng, look at how tiny that part is there. Wow. And there it is. So, okay, totally up to expectation. And really, I mean, a premium kit for the price that we purchased it. Parts are fantastic. And because it's such a small vehicle and so much detail, wow, it's just going to be absolutely look great. So, probably not a kit for the beginner, I would say. Tiny parts, lots of them, and it's going to take a little bit of patience and experience. I'm curious to know how the fit is on Meng kits, and we'll certainly come back with a review on that. So all the sprues we've seen up to now, with the exception of the diorama base, are common to both kits. They only differentiate in this little sprue, which in our case is H for hotel, which has the 2 different turrets on it. I don't have the other kit to show you, but this is the one with the hexagon turret. Obviously, we can see it there. So this is the riveted turret version. And the other kit's got a similar sprue, but obviously it's got the round cast turret on it, as well as an extra Hotchkiss machine gun, so it's kind of odd, but not to get too confusing, this is our sprue here in our riveted turret version, and we can see the detail is great, just like all the other sprues. Excellent bolt detail there. There's the cupola. There we have some of the sides. Oh, that would probably be the door, the hatches for the turret, so there you have that. Oh, some very small handle parts, wow. And then that would be the mounting or the mantlet for either the Pateau or the Hotchkiss machine gun. So, all right, so there's that sprue. And now one thing I did want to show you on the sprue, which is really odd, and I'll just focus in on it. Look at this. It's actually marked TS008, which is the other kit, and again stamped in 2013. But I'll tell you, this sprue does not appear in TS008. It's similar, very similar in size, but it does have the different cupola, the different turret on it. So I'm not sure what Meng is getting at with the labeling on this, but I can assure you that this is only typical of the riveted turret version, ours TS011. So, all right, and that's that sprue. And finally, the kit comes with smaller parts, 3 bags total. 1 bag contains the individual track links. Second little bag has got various and sundry metal parts, and then your third bag's got your decals and PE sheet. Now, I'm just going to bring the exposure down a little bit on my camera, otherwise this stuff is going to wash out. So, just starting with the PE sheet, it's a small sheet, just enough to sort of give us a flavor of working with photo etch. And there we can see we've got the driver/commander's seat strap. Certainly the lap of luxury. That's your turret basket, I guess. And then those square pieces are just going to be your escape hatches. And then some very tiny little pieces there. Looks like little straps. So we're going to have our work cut out there. So a little PE sheet. Looks good quality. And then we've got a little decal sheet here, and I'm just going to try to see, you can just see the triangles, that's for the Chinese version. Now, you do notice that the decal sheet is marked FT17, well, where is it here? TS011. So it is dedicated to this kit. The other kit, the cast version, TS008, has got a different decal sheet. And if you look, it's actually copywritten in 2019 by Meng. So the kit was released in 2014, so this was obviously a later edition. And one other thing, if you look closely, it says made in China. Now, the reason I just want to bring your attention to that is that the other decal sheet that I've seen in the other kit, TS008, are actually printed by Cartograph in Italy. And I must say, since then, it looks like Meng's been making their own decals. Now, the decals are good. The colors are muted, and the carrier film is tightly around the color parts. But the one thing I did want to bring your attention to, and I'm going to see if I can get in really close here and focus it, is if you look at the hearts, and if I can catch it in the light just right. See the top one there's got, I don't know what it is, a little hair or some scrapes or something. And this one here's got a little crease in it too. You can just sort of see it in the shine there on that bottom big heart. And I'm not sure what that's about. I don't think it's going to give us any problems once we put the decals on the model. But I don't know if this is as good a quality as Cartograph. But we'll see. And once we put it on the model, we'll report back. Then we have this little bag of metal various and sundries. And let me just see if I can bring my exposure back a little bit. There we go. We could see that. So a couple of white metal posts, and this is our track tensioning mechanism. You get these springs and these little rods that looks like mild steel, probably nickel plated. And these springs, I must say, are not accurate. Yeah, they're not scale. The real article, the springs seem to have more coils per foot or per inch, however you want to measure that, and they're of thicker gauge. So not quite right, but you know, it might be a little bit nitpicking on that one. So we'll have to see how it looks. I think the complaint generally from things I've seen reviews and that is the springs aren't correct. So, but I think they'll be okay. And then finally we get our individual track links, and I was messing with these before, and they don't require glue to put together. And they're very simple, just like the real article. And the only issue on them is that little raised nipple on every single one. So we're probably going to have to clean that up. But they look like they kind of almost have a cast texture to them, which is kind of nice. So we'll have to see how those go together. I don't know if they're going to be tight enough to come together without glue, but we'll see. But the real article is really simple, and these replicate that beautifully. So I'm really looking forward to painting those up and weathering them nicely. So. And that will do it for our sprues and our little sundries there. So. And that concludes our inbox review of the Meng 1/35th scale Renault FT17. Stay tuned for the build video on this kit and others due in the very near future. Please subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you for joining me. Stay well and all the best.